Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Duckoblo. Maybe you saw my last video on Everquest or maybe one of the Black Desert Online videos, but I'm just sort of recording my experience on certain games and uploading them to see some thoughts and hopefully get some advice in the comments or make some new friends along the way. A little bit before I get into Everquest and everything in general, I do also want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. That was also a big draw to me for this game. I am a long-time Dungeons and Dragons player. I've been playing since my early teens, on and off. The past couple of years in my adult life, though, I am part of 2 or 3 weekly campaigns. So I actually just wrapped up Tomb of Annihilation with my group. We're moving on to Curse of Strahd. I'm in another group that meets up on Sundays, and after I moved, I plan on keeping them active, but we'll see. I love D&D, but I've heard a lot of references from, I think, the second edition of D&D to EverQuest, and it is glaringly obvious, at least in my opinion, the connections that you have, the stats that you have to worry about for the character, the open adventure aspect where you're just sort of rooting for yourself and a party's required almost. It's like forced socialness. There is just like the amount of utility you get for special items also really reminds me of like collecting a rare in a chest in D&D. It really almost can change the foundation of your character, or not the foundation, I guess, but just give them more tools to use. And I really like that aspect of EverQuest. It really adds an extra level of oomph to not only the people you're fighting, because the drops are unique, but also just to the gear you're getting in general. So I really can see a lot of great comparisons between Dungeons and Dragons and EverQuest, and I personally think that's one of my biggest draws that's keeping me hooked. Is just last night I had a session, and the whole entire session I just couldn't help but make these connections. I'm like, oh man, I can see where that's in EverQuest. Oh man, we're doing a dungeon crawl right now. I better check the right corner to see if there's any. It was super funny, but yeah, I'm curious if this is going to be implemented in my D&D brain from here on out now. Recently, I've been delving into EverQuest on the Teek server, which is a TLP time lock progression server. I've been having way more of a blast than I ever anticipated. But before we start talking about EverQuest itself, I sort of wanted to give you like a rundown of my prior game knowledge and something else that I find super intriguing in EverQuest. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is my past MMO experience. I grew up playing World of Warcraft. I remember the second I saw the Wrath of the Lich King trailer on the TV, I was like, oh man, I need to start saving up money so I can get this, and I got the expansion only to realize I had to buy the base game, the Burning Crusade, and a subscription time, but luckily my father was more than willing to cover those after I bought the expansion. But after that, I've just been trying to play MMOs whenever I can. I've tried a lot of the newer stuff. My biggest addiction right now would probably be Black Desert. I'm really into it. I just haven't been able to log in as much because of my internet issues. But after I get that resolved, I do plan on hopping back on Black Desert and keeping that grind. But for now, I've been really interested in like older classic MMOs, and I played Classic WoW for a little bit, and then I saw there's a Teek server on EverQuest, and this really kind dude was actually able to gift me a chrono, which gives you membership, which you need to access the Teek server. So I've been playing like a bunch on this, and I first started out with this shaman, which was in my first video, and it was a bunch of fun getting him to level 4, dying a bunch in that starter zone. But I finally decided to make a trip, and maybe I'll have the video pop up right here on the side of the screen or something. But I did the trip down to the Common Lands, and it was fairly hard. I died like 6 times on the way there to desert madmen and other lizards and stuff, which was a fun journey. But once I got there, I was super excited because I've been told this is the most players I've ever seen in this game. So I was running up and I was trying to find where they would be located, and as soon as I got there, a guard, before he even was able to see many players, just ran up and one-shot me, and I was like, oh, so that's what it's like to be an evil character in this game. So after that, I sort of decided, like, let's try out a different class. Let's try out a less evil race to see if that gives me a little bit of a benefit. And as you can see, I'm already 8. I've done some grouping, which has been stressful because I'm just so anxious about that online aspect, but it's the reason why EverQuest is drawing me in. So I was glad. I've already been in 2 groups. It's been going well. It's been a lot of fun. For my goals for Teek and EverQuest in general, it's a little up in the air just because I don't know so much about this game. I just hopefully want to make a couple friends, maybe join a strong guild that is consistent and actually talking to each other. Another one is just enjoy the game, this old game, and see what it has to offer comparatively to the newer MMOs, because it seems so far that this is all about self-adventure, making up your own goals, and then seeing what options you have to get there, and I'm loving it so far. The next step is actually going to be learn a class very well, and I am loving Bard so far. I wanted to aim towards like a support role, so it leans very well in, and I've already messed around with macroing my melodies together and everything, so I'm having a blast. So I think Bard could be one that I sit on for a good while, and hopefully make it all the way up to 60 before the next expansion comes out. And then my end goal right now for Teek would be full circle. I would love to eventually help someone new to the game, as the gentleman who was able to gift me a chrono has. I want to be able to help someone get into the game, teach them the ropes, answer their questions, and be able to just run around and explain stuff. But obviously I have so much to learn right now. I did want to talk a little bit more about Bard. It was actually the main draw that I had to check out EverQuest. There's an awesome YouTuber who goes by Yaneth, I believe. I'll have his link in the description below as well to his YouTube channel. He's super awesome, but he did a Teek upload regularly. I think he's still working on it, I believe, but he was going over what it's like to be a bard, and it really interested me because I liked how supportive it was while still being able to like fill in all the holes that every other class doesn't have. So it's like the jack of all trades, master of none sort of vibe that I really like. So I would like to be able to, if I am grouping, filling in for roles. If someone leaves, I can be like, oh, let me switch a couple of my things, and now I can start generating mana. So it seems like that is my preferred playstyle currently, so I'll probably stick with that. I'm really liking Bard, and the Greater Feydark area is a lot better than the Ogre Ferrot starting zone, so that's fun. Alrighty, those were sort of my collective thoughts of EverQuest and the Teek server so far on my first week. Thanks so much for everyone who commented on the last video. Wish me luck on my adventure this time around. If you see Mally running around on Teek, please feel free to say hi. I'm super friendly and stuff. If you have any recommendations for grind spots, let me know in the comments. Currently, I guess this week I'll want to be working on the Orc Camp and Takedown Crush. For some reason, just him being there makes me... It's like, oh man, I've been in there, I've been grouping a little bit. I do want to finally get a group and maybe kill him once or twice to see what that's like. And then I want to move to the State of Unrest, I believe. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.